How do I get a loan for a CDL tractor or a box truck? How do I dispatch a box truck? How much money can I make with a box truck? Local deliveries with a box truck running last mile deliveries. Is Amazon Relay any good? How do I build my business credit? What's a factoring company? How do I get a fuel card? How do I get a massive line of credit? Are international trucks good to buy? I hear they're terrible. What's the big deal? How do I find drivers? How do I manage my trucking business while leveraging my strength? These are all questions that I was asked during a real consultation. If you need any help with your trucking business, or if you're thinking about starting a trucking business, use the link in the description to schedule a one-on-one consultation with me. I'd love to help you in your business. I hope you enjoy.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and...
Hey, this is Zach Pasquarello. I'm good, how are you? Is now still a good time to talk? What's going on? It's incredibly difficult to get a loan with a new business and to get a CDL tractor, as you just explained, if you don't have a CDL. And the reason, did the loan officer explain it to you? It's because basically if all else fails, you as the business owner are not able to get in that truck and drive it and continue operations because you don't have a CDL. So there's a lot of risk associated with you getting a loan, buying a CDL tractor without a CDL, and trying to hire a driver versus someone who already has a CDL and is going to drive the truck himself. I had the same problem. The best answer I got from a dozen other loan officers was 50% down payment, 35% down payment. I think it's really tough to be profitable with a box truck if you're not the driver. Unless you dispatch the truck yourself. Do you have time to dispatch the truck? Can you dispatch a day before? That's kind of tough. Maybe yes, you can. If you're gonna need to be available 2 hours every single day to dispatch your truck, to talk to brokers. If anything goes wrong at the shipper or the receiver, you pretty much need to be available and able to answer phone calls and call people and work with your driver. From my experience, I was able to profit $200 a week, maybe $400 a week with the box truck. So, but I mean, at the same time, you're literally not doing anything. You hire a driver, you have a dispatcher. It's really hands off. Once you get your authority, once you get your truck, once you have everything in place, theoretically, all you have to do is just make sure your bills are paid on time and your invoices are collected. So, I mean, to get $200 to $400 a week for essentially doing nothing while simultaneously building your business, because once your business is 2 years old, banks will line up to give you loans. It'll be significantly easier to get a loan once your business is 2 years old, even for that CDL tractor or if you want to add more box trucks. But with a semi truck, you're going to profit $1,000 to $2,000 a week. So it's kind of tough to even consider getting a box truck knowing that you're going to make 5 times more money with a semi truck, more profit. Do they work with Amazon, Home Depot, Lowe's? That's actually what my driver's doing right now. My driver is doing local deliveries for Lowe's and Home Depot through a similar company. It's not the last mile company you're talking about. Or are you talking about a company or just a general thing when you say last mile delivery? Right, yeah, last mile delivery is, taking it from the final cross-dock warehouse to the actual customer's front door. It's the couple things. Your driver's not going to drive as many miles. He's going to spend more time unloading his truck and carrying boxes to the customer's front door or driveway. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm getting paid $550 every day, and my driver drives for 6 hours a day, and he spends another 4 hours delivering packages. So he's working 10 hours a day. I'm able to pay him $165 a day. So he's making $16-17 an hour, which isn't bad for a driver with little to no experience. And with that, I'm only driving 150 miles a day. So I'm actually able to profit right around the $200 to $400 a week. And the tricky part though is finding a customer who offers that in Atlanta. And I know Atlanta's a big city, obviously, so I'm sure it's all over the place. But you will struggle to just go walk into Lowe's or Home Depot and say, hey, I'm here to do a last mile delivery. You kind of need to finesse your way into that contract. But I think that's a better way to make money with a box truck than it is to go over the road, because the thing that kills over the road drivers is the hotel fee. So a lot of guys who drive their box truck themselves, they just grind it out and they just sleep in their truck and they just eat that that hotel cost. They don't pay for a hotel, but they're miserable for months. But if you're trying to hire a driver, I mean, that would be really bad from like an employer perspective. To first of all, it's illegal. Like your driver is not allowed to sleep in the truck. So if you're employing a driver and you're not offering to cover his hotel fee and you're telling him to sleep in the truck, like that's not a good way to start a business. So with that being said, you're going to have to pay for his hotel, and that's just what eats away at profits from a box truck over the road operation. So yeah, I think at this point you have two options. Get a box truck and try to run last mile local delivery and hire a driver. You could also do Amazon. Amazon, I know in Atlanta, is pretty hot, and you could make like $400 a day, but you can run Amazon 7 days a week. There's always loads, and it's typically from like 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. that Amazon runs. And you pick up in an Amazon warehouse, and you deliver to like 3 to 5 post offices at like 6 or 7 a.m. And that's a lot easier work than installing appliances. Installing appliances, carrying heavy boxes from your truck to someone's driveway is really difficult work. Like my driver doing the last mile delivery, he had literally a lawnmower that he had to put on a dolly, take off the back of his truck, and wheel to someone's driveway. So like the boxes, the packages are like 200-300 pounds. It's really physically demanding. But Amazon Relay isn't quite as physically demanding. And if you run one load a day, you're gonna make similar money. You're not gonna get rich doing this with a box truck. With a semi truck, different story. You could, like I said, $1,000 a week, $2,000 a week. You can make a lot of money hiring a driver for a semi truck. But hiring a driver for a box truck, it's tough to make a lot of money quickly. It's a good way to get started, but it's not a good way to make a lot of money. Credit repair service for your business. I'm not even sure. From my experience, like if you're trying to take shortcuts, if you're trying to make things happen really quickly, it's probably like a scam or too good to be true. Like if someone's telling you that they're going to be able to give you business credit really quickly, I would be cautious of whoever's offering to do that. And also with a new business, like I see people talking about business credit all the time on YouTube, and every time I've gone in to apply for a loan, they've always asked me to personally guarantee my loan. Like no one really cares about my business because it's a single member LLC. Like your business is what's called a pass-through entity. Like you and your business are the same thing. So I don't really buy into this like trying to leverage my business credit. Like you're better off trying to get your personal credit above 700 if it isn't already, and then just save up $20,000 for a down payment. Like that's the answer. That's how you're going to get a truck. There's no shortcuts. You're not going to be able to get these net 10, net 30 accounts and somehow magically get like this massive loan based on your business credit. Like I haven't seen it. I see people talking about it theoretically, but I haven't actually seen it in practice. And to me, it just kind of seems like a big scam and a shortcut. That's not going to work in the long run. So I think your best bet is to just save up $20,000 for a down payment to actually get a truck the right way. And you said you're only 20 years old. Like I'm 28, so you're already 8 years ahead of me, and you are light years ahead of most other people that are even thinking about starting this business. So like the fact that you're doing your research now, like you're way ahead of the curve. Like kudos to you, seriously, for getting started this early. Another thing you could do, and this is basically what I did for the first 6 months. I got my box truck, I got my authority. I learned the industry through trial and error, and I didn't make any money. I actually lost money. But the lessons that I learned in the past 6 months, I mean, I talk about it in my YouTube channel all the time. Like these lessons that I learned are invaluable. Like I could not have bought a course or paid anybody to teach me the things that I've learned. So, I mean, another option for you, like if you're the kind of guy that like just wants to take a leap of faith and just try it and just say, we'll figure it out as we go, which is kind of how I am. You could also just get a box truck now, try to hire a driver, and worst case scenario, you break even or even lose a couple $1,000s over the next 12 months. You said you already have a really good job. So worst case scenario, you lose a couple $1,000s and you learn a lot, way more than you ever could from reading books or watching YouTube videos. A factoring company is different from a credit card, different from a line of credit. So as you know, a credit card, you go to Walmart, you swipe it, and 30 days later you get your credit card bill, you pay your credit card. A line of credit just gives you cash. You can take cash from a line of credit, deposit it in your checking account, and you pay interest on it daily. A factoring company, they own your invoice, accounts receivable. So they basically own all of your accounts receivable, and as you work, you tell your factoring company, hey, I just made $1,000 from broker XYZ. they owe me $1,000 and they're going to pay in 30 days. And the factoring company says, okay, we trust that. We know that broker. They're legit. So we're going to give you $1,000 today and we'll wait for the brokerage to pay us back. We're going to charge you 3%. So they're going to give you $1,000 today, but they're going to take $30 and then they're just going to wait 30 days to get paid. And 3% might not sound like a lot. It might not sound, $30 might not sound like a lot right now. In the trucking industry, we deal with a very high number for our revenue. So on average, we're pulling in $5,000 a week. So that's $150 every single week that you're spending on a factoring company just to secure funds. And the 3%, you might think, oh, well, a conventional loan is like 8% interest, so what's the big deal? The thing is that 8% interest is collected over an entire year. So in 1 month, you're only taking 8% divided by 12. That's the amount of interest you're paying in 1 month. But for this is taking 3% instantly. So it's a crazy high interest rate when you think about it that way. And your best bet is to try to get a line of credit. But you might not be, especially with you being younger and not having as much of a credit history, you're probably going to struggle to find a line of credit big enough because you're going to be making $5,000 every week and multiply that by 4, you've got $20,000 from day 1 to day 28 when you started your business. You've earned $20,000, but you don't have it in your bank account if you don't have a factoring company. So essentially you need $20,000 to front your business after you've started everything, bought everything, put down payments on insurance and box truck. You need an additional $20,000 to front and flow your accounts receivable for the first month. And no one can do that realistically unless you've got a lot of money, obviously. So factoring companies pay you instantly and then they collect their 3% fee and then the broker pays them 30 days later. There's really no way of avoiding a factoring company unless you have $20,000, $30,000 cash laying around. So you're probably going to have to do that. But if you bundle your factoring company and your fuel card, you can save 0.5%, which, once again, doesn't sound like a lot. I think you're better off pairing the fuel card and the factoring company at the same time. RTS is a great factoring company, and they partner with Pilot Flying J. So if you call RTS today and get set up with factoring, they'll also try to sell you their fuel card, which is the same as Pilot, which is one of the 3 most popular truck stop gas stations all over the country. And Pilot will probably give you 10 or 15 cents off per gallon, in addition to RTS also giving you that 0.5%. So I would recommend try to bundle your fuel card and your factoring company because that 0.5% over the long run really saves a lot. And as you start adding trucks, as you start increasing your accounts receivable, you can negotiate with your factoring company. Like you can get all the way down to 2% factoring rate if you have more than $50,000 of accounts receivable coming in. So 2%, it is what it is. There's not really a way around it, but yeah, definitely bundle the factoring company and the fuel card. I do want to say one caveat. Just because I told you that I might think it's a good idea to just kind of jump into it and just kind of learn as you go, that does not mean that you don't do your research. And obviously you're watching videos, you're reading articles, you're doing your own research. But I just really I spent 4 months of planning and budgeting and analyzing before I actually got my truck. One really cool thing that I've just now starting to realize is that you can get a line of credit based on your revenue, your business revenue. Like I said, once you're 2 years old, so many doors start to open, and we can get a line of credit based on our revenue. And with a trucking company, I'm talking $5,000 a week with one box truck, $10,000 a week with one semi truck. That with a box truck, you're looking at $250,000 of revenue per year. With one semi truck, you're looking at $500,000 in revenue per year. I haven't done it yet because I'm waiting for my business to be a little bit older. But if you go to a bank with tax returns showing revenue of $500,000 per year, you will be able to get a substantial line of credit, at least $50,000. I'm hoping, and that's the best way to get into real estate or to open up another business. If you can get access to funds, like a line of credit of $50,000, $100,000, right there, that's the down payment you need to buy a rental property or to buy inventory for a new business or to buy more trucks. Getting that line of credit is going to be so huge if we want to open up a different business or a new business or expand our business. Oh, the ProStar, the tractor? I've been running it for 3 months, but it's been fine. I kind of have the same questions you do. Every place I look internationals are the cheapest trucks available, and it's kind of concerning. Like Freightliners, Volvos, Peterbilts, Max, Kenworths, like they're all so much more money than the internationals. From what I've heard, I talked to my mechanic. He said internationals are really expensive to repair, and I also think that internationals had a really bad time in the early 2010s, 2011, 2012. Like they had the Max Force engine, and so they just have a really bad reputation because of that. But I have two international trucks right now. I've got an international box truck and an international tractor, and I mean maintenance, I've had routine maintenance, but I haven't had any major issues. I mean, maybe I've gotten lucky. I'm not sure why the internationals are so cheap. Maybe talk to a mechanic. It really depends on the engine you get. But I also have a Max Force engine in my international box truck, which is like everyone says, stay away, stay away, stay away. But I've got a 2010 International Max Force box truck, and I put 100,000 miles on it, and I have barely had any issues with it. You know, knock on wood. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself, but I don't know. I mean, I see internationals on the road all the time. If you can that's what I did. I got a 2016 International Pro Star for $65,000, and it's been running fine for me. My staffing agency can staff anyone nationally. If I were you, I will send you their information after this call so you can connect with them. But also, you know, do a quick Google search and look for local staffing agencies in Atlanta. You know, you can always work with both, and then whoever finds you a driver first or whoever finds you the best driver, work with them. But I mean, me personally, I always enjoy working with local companies. I like the idea of being able to go to their office and shake hands and meet these guys in person. But, you know, it might be a good backup to use my staffing agency just in case you can't find one in Atlanta. But yeah, they do work nationally all over the country. Yeah, I do. That's pretty much the only thing I do. I pay my bills, I do my bookkeeping, I create my invoices, I submit my invoices to the factoring company, and I do my taxes. So there are some guys who can change the oil in their truck, and there are some guys who can do their own taxes. I just so happen to be the kind of person who's good with accounting and business and finances. But you know, if you're the kind of guy that can change your oil, that's also an asset. So that's a good point that I want to touch on real quick. Like, don't try to be the jack of all trades. Like, don't be afraid to outsource things. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Like, focus on what you're really good at and leverage that. Like me, I'm really good at bookkeeping. I'm not going to spend my time trying to change the oil in my truck. I'm going to spend my time bookkeeping.